This is the end for me. It deals with my biological father. I'm not going to tell you what I learned about him, but I will tell you that, of course, there was a time where I knew absolutely nothing. And the only thing that I learned was secondhand from people who were on my biological mother's side and from the adoption agency and the foster care agency that dealt with me when I was a baby, who I found out later lied to me about almost everything that they told me, but they gave me information about my biological father that made me jump to a conclusion. And I'm going to say this now because I don't... Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to hold that and keep that specific detail to myself, and I'm sorry to do that. I know it's fucked up. But I'm just going to say this. I jumped to a horrible conclusion about what the situation was between my biological mother and my biological father when they got together to create me, to basically have sex. And I dealt with this through writing a play called The Red Plaid Suitcase. And I dealt with this one issue, like wondering what happened and how did they come together and what was it like, for about 6 or 8 months. I wrote about it every day. And I wrote myself way into it, and then I wrote myself out of it. And I realized that, you know, you should never jump to conclusions that are so extreme until you really know what you're dealing with. Because when you jump to conclusions like that, that can really affect other people. You know, unless you absolutely keep it to yourself. But it can still affect other people too in the way you deal with people. If you have a preconceived notion about somebody, it's almost like being racist or anti-Semitic or homophobic or misogynistic. You know, it's like you're creating this story in your head that only has to do with what you think, what you believe. It's not based on facts or reality. And so it's like thinking you know what somebody's like because of the way they look, or based on who they love, or just because they're a woman, or because they're gay, or from Mexico, or from Yugoslavia, or whatever. Croatia, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Colombia. I mean, you can't judge somebody based on anything because you never know what somebody's like. And so I learned so much about myself over that 6-month writing period. And it was a very difficult time for me because I was dealing with me, like my biological beginnings, which have been, you know, very kind of difficult for me to deal with in many, many ways, obviously. And so, anyway, that's what's really cool about working on this film right now. I've learned so much from working on my first play, Broke Wide Open, which is about my, you know, very ambivalent search for my biological mother, and then my second story, which started as The Red Plaid Suitcase, but then became The Center of Distance, which was a film about my biological mother after learning facts, after learning actual, real life things that happened from people who were there firsthand. And now I'm dealing with This Is the End for Me, filled with all of that. And hopefully I'm a better artist for it, and I'm a better person for it. And hopefully I will create the best art of my life as a result of that, because as my friend Tongo Eisen Martin once said to me, you got to become a better person in order to become a better artist. And never have words truer been spoken, as far as I'm concerned. I think that's such an important thing to keep in mind, that the art that you create is really based on the person that you are. I don't care if you create fiction or nonfiction, documentaries or narratives. I don't care what you do. You know, what you create is based on your perception, where you're coming from. You know, it's coming from you. You're the creator. And so obviously, if you're the most well-rounded, most open-minded, you know, most, you know, well-educated, and I don't mean school educated, I mean life educated, you know, the more you know and the better you are, the better you're going to be able to communicate, and the more you're going to be able to use your creativity. You know, your creativity is your God-given gifts. You know, can you sing? Can you write? Can you dance? Can you paint? Like, these are things that, in my opinion, they're amazing, but they're also kind of easy, because the difficult part, the impressive part for me, comes with who are you? And how are you going to express yourself with your gifts? And what do you have to say? And what are you contributing? you know, what are you giving me that's going to make my life better? That's going to, well, I need that aha moment, you know, I need that kind of, that good energy from art that is grounded and based in somebody who has evolved and has grown, you know, somebody who has accumulated a lot of life and has been willing to change with all of that. Because, you know, that's the thing about being a human being, you know, you have to change. Life changes all the time.